Hi, I'm Alicia Shrivastava from the UMass Natural Language Processing Group, and I'm here today with my team members Min and Emir to talk about our paper, Beyond English, Assessing Memorization of Translated Text in Large Language Models. We were mentored by Dr. Mohit Iyer, Chow Min Pham, and Dr. Marjana Karpinska at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Our paper focuses on two major topics in natural language processing research. We look at translation memorization, and they cross-lingually memorize information, that they can transfer their memorization across languages. To validate this hypothesis, we plan to demonstrate that LLMs can memorize not only the original text of the book, but also the translated version of the book, not included in its pre-training data.
Memorization. Memorization is the verbatim reproduction and identification of pre-training data. Why is it bad? We have a couple of reasons: legal implications, privacy, accuracy, and data contamination. So we have two hypotheses. First one being large language models are memorizing the content of translated books that are still under copyright protection. And the second one being LLMs memorize data across languages, even when their training data doesn't explicitly contain text in a specific language, which is cross-lingual data memorization. We have done some literature review. First one being Copyright Violations and Large Language Models by Yasaman Rezegi et al., which we have found that LLMs in fact exhibit memorization. Speak, Memory, and Archaeology of Books by Kent K. Chang et al. We have seen that OpenAI models in fact memorize a wide collection of copyrighted materials, and they have performed downstream tasks much better on memorized books.
And a proposed solution to assessing the extent of memorization in LLMs include three experiments: direct probing, name close task, and prefix probing. So this is what our pipeline looks like. First, we collect 25 books in English, Spanish, Turkish, and Vietnamese. Then, using a combination of tools such as Part3, GPT-4o, and Stanza, we collect 100 aligned texts per book for a total of 2,500 passages. Then we can feed these passages into the LLM to perform the three experiments mentioned earlier. Here's an example passage that we extracted. Notice how it's about 40 to 60 tokens long, and it contains only one named entity, which is Lucy in this case. To go into further detail about our dataset construction, in stage 1, we break down all of the text into sentences. Then we align the translated sentences to their English counterparts using part 3. We can cross-align the English sentences to the original language passages via unique tags. In stage 2, passage extraction, we iterate through the alignments, filtering out the pairs with sacred blue score below 5. And then we can use Stanza to extract the passages between 40 to 60 tokens long, as mentioned earlier, and only has one named entity. Here you can see an example output of our pipeline.
Here we're looking at the dataset validation for our study. And the model that we're working with is OMO. And it contains the Hugging Face DOMA dataset. And the benefit of this is that DOMA contains all the books that we have included in our dataset. And we'll be using the Infinigram Elasticsearch to identify the number of times that our named entities and our passages are present in the DOMA dataset. So we have an understanding of how occurrences impact our results. Since there are no foreign texts in DOMA, it would be really interesting to see if OMO can still achieve certain accuracies in our experiments. And here are our experiments. The experiments we're looking at are 3 memorization assessments. The first one is called direct probing, at predicting the title and author of the originating text. The name close attack predicts a single token that fills in a mask in a passage of text that we provide from a book that we have collected for our dataset. And the prefix probing, we're using it to predict the tokens that complete the context of the passage that we provide. Here is the direct probing attack. So we're looking at prompting the model to provide the book and author, providing a passage in the original language, and asking for the output as the name of the book and the author. Then we move to our name close inference attack. We ask, what is the character name hidden by the mask? And the idea is, given some context, predict a single token that fills in a mask. To account for different texts being more predictable than others, we focus on a hard setting of predicting the identity of a single name in a passage of 40 to 60 tokens that contains no other entities. Unlike other closed tasks that focus on entity prediction for question answering or reading comprehension, no names at all appear in the context to inform the closed fill. In the absence of information about a particular book, this name should be nearly impossible to predict from the context alone, because it requires knowledge not of English, but about the work in question. Here we're looking at the prefix probing experiment, which is one of the last experiment in our study. And the idea behind this is that you are provided a first half of the excerpt, and the model is asked to predict the following n tokens to fill in the mask. Again, we're focusing on a hard setting of 40 to 60 tokens, with no few shot example in this one. And the absence of information in each particular book means that the following text should be nearly impossible to predict from the context alone. Lastly, we wanted to discuss error analysis and ablation. We're looking at Carlini's 3 log linear relationships. We're looking at the capacity of a model by complexity, and then we're looking at the number of times an example has been duplicated by number of occurrence or author in the pre-training corpus. And we would like to consider the number of tokens of context used to prompt the model. Lastly, thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing our results with you all.